While there might still be snow all over on our property, it is actually way too warm outside now to get ice cream all the way from the store to our house because it melts before it gets here. But we have a solution for that. So a little while back, someone actually bought us this KitchenAid mixer ice cream attachment off of our wish list, and we are finally going to put it to the test and hopefully make some really yummy ice cream. So before we can actually make our ice cream, the bowl that this ice cream is going to mix inside of, this has to sit inside of the freezer for a couple hours. So we're going to go ahead, get this put in the freezer, and then we'll start working on our ice cream mix. So I have already kind of opened this up and washed everything. The inside attachments do not need to go in the freezer, but this bowl does. So we're gonna get it into our chest freezer for right now. So when I was making my vanilla, I had a lot of people recommend that I actually cut the vanilla beans open so that the beans on the inside can actually kind of seep into that vanilla extract. But I very intentionally didn't do that because I had in my mind that I wanted to take the vanilla little seeds and use it in my ice cream to make vanilla bean ice cream. So now that this bottle is basically empty, we are going to try to get some of the vanilla beans out of here so that we can scrape them into our ice cream mix. I'm gonna just do this over top of my saucepan. That way anything that leaks out we can just use in the ice cream. Ooh, there we go. So there's a little bit of the vanilla extract in the bottom of this pan, but that's fine. I'm gonna leave it. It might make it so the ice cream doesn't freeze quite as hard, but a lot of that I think will kind of steam out a little bit when I'm mixing this up. So I'm gonna get these cut and scraped. There's all of our vanilla beans. And now we're gonna get to mixing up our ice cream in here. So starting with 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And I will say I did let this freeze. So this is gonna be my first time experimenting with thawed whipping cream. So we'll just kind of see what happens. 3/4 cup sugar. A little bit of salt. It's supposed to be about 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm just gonna do that much. And then finally we cannot forget this part, which I'm gonna get a rubber spatula for that. So it's looking promising because that actually looks pretty good to me right now, but we are going to get this up and heat it up until all of the sugar is fully dissolved. This is also my first time using the center burner. It's thickening up quite a bit, but I think there's still just a little bit of granules of sugar in there. So we let it go a little bit longer and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good, so I'm going to turn off the heat. We need some more milk. So now that all the rest of our ingredients are in here, we don't actually need to heat it up anymore. Now what we need to do is cool it down. So I am gonna pass it through this strainer just to make sure that any chunks that there might be, we get out of the way. And then we are going to strain it, put it in a different container, and stick it in the refrigerator for a while to cool down, because we want it to be a lot cooler in temperature before we put it in the churner so that it turns into a much smoother ice cream. Let's try not to make a giant mess. There we go, and into the fridge for this. As you can see, it's all frosty right here. So this has been out in the freezer. It's nice and cold, and we're gonna get that anglaise put in there. I hope I got that on there. I wasn't quite sure how it fit. We're gonna turn it on. Oh, I gotta plug it in. That was just, of course you have to plug it in. It can take up to 20 to 30 minutes for this to churn, so we're gonna let it sit for a while. But I can already see little bits of ice crystals forming in there, so it is definitely doing what it needs to do. So I didn't really want to churn this outside because I truly did want to know what it was going to end up doing just inside of our house normally. But looking at it, I think I need to either take this container, put it back in the freezer for a little bit, or move the whole blender outside. I think it's just starting to get a little bit too warm. When I first poured the mixture in there, you could actually see it icing up and getting frozen to the sides of the walls. And now it just doesn't seem to really be doing that. It's kind of just staying liquidy. So I think that real frozen, so I think it's just not quite as like truly frozen as it was before, this outside container. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna go take this base and go stick it in the freezer for a little bit, maybe like a half hour, and then I'll try again, bring it back in here and let it keep mixing. I do think that for this attempt, I wanna keep it mixing inside of the house no matter what, because then summer, winter, it doesn't really matter. The temperature in here is about the same. That way I can kind of base it off of, you know, in the middle of summer, if we wanna make ice cream, setting it outside isn't really gonna be any different for us. So we're gonna take this, put it in the freezer, and try again in about a half hour. It did definitely thicken up and make little icy sections though, so it is doing something. I'm also just gonna really quick. Ooh, that tastes really good. I'm excited now. It's been in the freezer for about a half hour. It's definitely solidified up quite a bit, so we're gonna get this mixing again. So that consistency is looking pretty good. I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it in a couple of these pint jars, and then we are going to get it back in the freezer because we're not actually going to eat this today, but we will be able to have it tomorrow. So they're not filled entirely all the way up. I don't think it would matter if I did fill them all the way. We have about I would guess like 2.5 pints of ice cream now, and I've actually taste tested every little drop. I've been trying and it is so good. But we are gonna get this back into the freezer really quick, let it fully freeze, and then we will do a final taste test, and I will make sure that Cody tries some as well. Well, Well, it's snowing again. It's the next day. We just made some birthday cake to have with Rowan, and I figured this ice cream would go along perfect with it. So we're gonna go grab our pint of ice cream. All right, there it is. Let's go give it a taste test. Oh, I actually have an ice cream scoop too. Let's see how it should be. That looks pretty good. Oh, that's hard. Oh, that's rock hard. Whoo! Here's your scoop of ice cream. Not really. You can see the little vanilla flakes in it. That's good. Mm-hmm. That ice cream was actually really hard to scoop. I think this is a good one to kind of take out of the freezer, let it sit on the counter for maybe 20 minutes or so, and then scoop it out. But it smells really good, and I really hope it tastes good. So now we're gonna try it. You don't like it? That's not the reaction I was expecting, to be honest.
That is a very strong vanilla flavor. It's good. It's kind of like ice crystal-y, though.
Yeah.
It tastes good.
Good. Okay.
It is a very strong vanilla, though.
Is it?
She's mowing down on cake right now.
Definitely vanilla bean, though. That's kind of what I wanted, though. I wanted it to be a strong vanilla flavor. I will note about the iciness. So we don't actually have milk right now. So what I used water with some of our powdered milk, which is actually fat-free. So a lot of that fat content that you would get in the milk, we just didn't have this time around. So it is going to make it a little bit icier. Now, if we try this again, hopefully we'll have milk, at least 2%, or even whole milk is preferred. Usually we have either one or skim because that's just what we get right now. But in the future, especially as Rowan starts drinking milk, we're going to be getting the more fattier milk. So we can try that and just see what the difference is. Would you want to try it again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That was really good. I mean, you seem not as excited about it as I am.
No, it's better than the cheap store-bought stuff.
So maybe I used 2 vanilla beans this time. Maybe next time I'll only try 1 if you thought it was too vanilla-y. Yeah. And then, again, maybe try making it with the actual milk instead of our fat-free water compromise.